On this episode, I'm going to be running down a gauntlet of conversions and painting projects that I did for the annual Inqtober challenge.
Dome Runners TV, your guide to the Underhive and beyond.
Hey there, scabby scummers and gangers, Crimson Oracle here, and I have to say I am excited to make this video. It is the culmination of an entire month of work. As many of you will be familiar, every October there is an event called Inqtober, a daily drawing challenge that goes around the artistic community. It's a lot of fun, but personally I'm not really someone who shares things that I draw, so I've never participated. But last year I discovered that Luke Swadling did a riff on Inqtober called Inqtober with a Q for Inquisitor 28 modeling projects. For those who don't know, Inquisitor 28 is a artistic movement and game movement within the Warhammer community. It is focused around telling stories with models in a sort of more elevated fashion that sort of takes things in a more serious but also more self-aware and expressionistic kind of approach than the sort of the basic Warhammer modeling approach, where each person's attempting to sort of shape a world with their creations. And it often includes a lot of storytelling, and it can sometimes include playing games. It's common to use Necromunda rules. There are, of course, the Inquisitor rules, which at some point I will do a series of videos on, but I'm not there yet. And yeah, so it's a very diverse and fun part of the hobby, and I think that if you haven't got much experience with that part of the hobby, I would definitely recommend checking it out. So what was cool about this is that it was 31 prompts for building models. And while I don't draw, I do build lots and lots of models. So I completed all of the submissions for last year, and I absolutely loved them and would also probably do a video on those at some point in the future. And so when this year came around, I felt compelled to do all 31 once again. And so here I am going to run down a list of all of the conversions, go through the short backstories that I wrote for the ones that I added a backstory, and then go over the parts that I used in the conversion. But before we go to that, I wanted to say, if you like my videos, please drop a like on the video and subscribe on my channel. That's how more people find me. And the channel is growing, and I'm really excited to, hit more people and, kind of reach a broader audience. So let's keep it going. Inqtober Day 1, Chrono Gladiator. These poor souls are pit fighters, equipped with a timed explosive device in their body. The only way to extend the timer is to kill. A sport on many worlds throughout the Imperium, the Chrono Gladiators are just one example of the unmitigated cruelty common in Imperial space. The body is a Carrick Acolyte, the head is from the Corpse Grinders kit, the saw arm is from the Gene Stealer called Acolyte Hybrids kit, the claw arm is from the Cataphren kit. And this one is obviously somewhat inspired by the 54mm Inquisitor Chrono Gladiator model, which, is a classic. Day 2, Cold Trader Ganger. Estradia Merdina is one of the many daughters of Slate Merdina, an up-and-coming gang leader. At one point, she had to flee the planet after accidentally killing a guilder in a shootout. She returned using a pseudonym over a decade later as an agent of the mysterious Cold Trade Network, dealing in priceless artifacts. She's accompanied by her loyal bosun, Merc. For the Cold Trader, the body is off a Gene Stealer Acolyte hybrid. The legs are from the Orlok kit. The upper arms are from the Orlok kit, with a Delax stiletto knife and an Eldar Corsair shuriken rifle. Head is off the Hive Scum kit, and her bosun is an Orlok body with a head off the Hive Scum kit. And these guys are the first half of the Cold Trader party that will be a criminal alliance that people can choose from in Necromunda, and I actually completed the other half a little bit later. Day 3. Agri-Servitor. N709 Theta is one of the servitors tasked with tending the fungus farms in Hope's Falls settlement in the ash wastes of Necromunda. Likely once a prisoner with a capital sentence, the automaton now trims and waters the large fungi that serve as the primary source of the town's nutrition. Given the predisposition of the fungal strains towards decaying flesh, they've begun decomposing what remains of the host, a common problem with servitors in this line of work. The model is a zombie from Titanforge, kit-bashed with servitor parts from the Maker's Cult, scaled down a little, plus some green stuff. I even actually have the fungi farm tile that this servitor is supposed to be tending. It will eventually turn up as part of the terrain that is used in my Necromunda campaign. Day 4. Heretek Inventor. In the brutal ash waste environment, vehicles undergo constant wear and tear, both from the weather and skirmishes. This necessitates mechanics with a creative mind. These artisans are known as motorheads, a custom hanger-on that I made for the Frontier campaign. Vingard the Visionary was once a mere serf traded to House Caudor in a deal with the Guild of Coin, but exposed to the near heretical teachings of the Red Redemption, he would become a true believer. Initially tasked with recycling shells and fashioning makeshift weapons out of pipe, Vingard would prove himself a capable inventor, designing whole weapon systems in imitation of the holy armaments of the Emperor's greatest servants. He created a suit of what he calls power armor for one of Caudor's house agents, and is the creator of Tanctuary, a colossal imitation of the Sororitas Drop Cathedral. He doesn't know it, but these works would be a crime treated most severely if a Magos were to ever come across them. Lucky for him, Lord Helmar keeps such prying eyes away from the creations of his clan houses. The model is an Empire Flagellant with Orlok head, a wrench off the Orlok upgrade sprue, and a Genestealer Cult shotgun. Backpack was a Genestealer Cult heavy weapon pack, with the ammo crate removed and replaced with scrolls from the Dark Angel's vehicle upgrade sprue, plus a gauge from a Skitarii backpack and an oil can that came off the Adelan Jackals. Day 5. Mercenary Scum. I opted to go for the Voidborn Scum for my Cold Trader party for these two. Ed and Ed were triplets with their brother Eddie before an unfortunate airlock incident. They've lived most of their lives on the rogue trader vessel Light's Agony. Born in the bowels of the ship, they were laborers until their owner, the heir of the rogue trader House Apollo, began to engage in the lucrative but dangerous trade in Xenos artifacts known as the Cold Trade. They are loaned out as muscle, giving the rogue trader plausible deniability of her involvement, something Personal Guard and Void Marines on the ship lack. They are currently in the employ of Estrada Merdina, who has been successfully smuggling artifacts to Necromunda and nearby systems for the last few years. The models are Slave Ogren from Necromunda, with 3 of the arms taken from the Bulgrin kit, and a weapon and backpack taken from various Orc kits. The other pack is a scaled-up 3D print. Day 6. Xenos Judicator. The Ironhead clans of squats that traverse the surface of Necromunda are known for 2 things: big guns and vengeance. The Grudge Keeper is the anointed record keeper of all debts and conflicts in the clan. Galdus the Bitter is the Grudge Keeper for the clan Tudes Corporation, based out of a crawler in the western reaches of Necromunda. He travels with a small caravan of vehicles, visiting the various gangs and recording their battles and sharing an updated list of enemies. The greatest offenders he hunts down personally. The model is a Mr. McAngry 3D print, Space Dwarf Lord with a book off of the Flagellants, a pistol off the Ironhead squat sprue, and an old dwarf shield for his banner. Day 7. Cyborg Arch-Militant. Chris the Razor was once a ship's marine cadet aboard an Imperial vessel, but an encounter with the Red Corsairs while traversing shipping routes close to the Maelstrom changed his life. Surviving the attack, he was dragged aboard the heretic vessel and placed in fighting pits for the amusement of the crew. Eventually, he earned enough respect in the ring to be given a shot in battle. While he was given a lasgun, he preferred the ceremonial blade that he won in one of his fights. A stray mine would cost him his limbs in a boarding action, but his fury and fight for survival impressed the commanding officer, who arranged to have cybernetic enhancements installed to replace his missing limbs. He's continued his service after making a recovery. Head and body and shoulder pads are off the Blooded sprue, the arms and legs are off the Skitarii sprue, and the knife is from a Blood Reaver, This is the first of my Blooded models. I put together a full roster of Blooded during the course of October, and a bunch of the conversions in it wound up going into the Inquisitor 28 projects for this month. Day 8, Death Cult Adherent. Of all the various cults spread across Necromunda, perhaps none is as widely followed as the Cult of the Red Redemption. Prone to violence and challenging of the existing social order, which the adherents of the Redemption view as too permissive and decadent, these cults in their most extreme form are outlawed by Lord Helmar. Yet, nonetheless, they spread, both across the teeming masses of the Helot workers of Necromunda, as well as across the stars, carried by pilgrims seeking to spread their message of fire and blood to any willing to hear it. They twist the already enormously cruel and inhumane practices of the Imperium into a direct worship of homicidal and suicidal violence, the torture of enemies, the cleansing flames, and the desirability of death in the Emperor's name. They spread quickly, but they don't stay hidden for long, as the adherents cannot hold back from meting out punishments and martyrdom. Monaghan the Inflammable is a particularly devoted member of the Redemption on Necromunda. He's one of the Redeemer's personal assassins, time and again surviving assignments that would have spelled certain death for a lesser house agent. He wears a distinctive pyromantic mantle that shrouds his head in fire, and an incombustible hauberk that helps him earn his sobriquet. He carries a boning sword he honed himself from a salvaged relic of the Adeptus Mechanicus, found in Cawdor's vast network of refuse drifts. His other blade is one of the chain cleavers of the Corpse Grinders, a prize taken in battle against the leader of a heretical cell of Corpse Grinders that he was sent to assassinate. Deadly before he acquired this blade, he has since become nigh unstoppable, driven by what he describes as the Emperor himself speaking to him. The model is made from the legs and torso off a Corpse Grinder Juve, upper body of a Redemptionist, head from a Flagellant kit, right arm is off a Blood Reaver with blade carved from a Sicarian Scutari blade, and left arm is from the Corpse Grinder kit. The fuel tank on his back is, I believe, from the Cataphront kit. Day 9, Archaotech Smuggler. Lunissa Apollo, rogue trader, transporting some of the most valuable items in her family's storied collection. She's incognito, but her carapace armor and armor weave keep her safe. The model is a Vansar body with Genestealer cult legs, Scion arms, a head off of the Hive Scum, pistols and holster off the Sulphur Hounds. Day 10, Petty Demon Host. It is a known phenomenon that most Inquisitors, whatever their ideology and personality, at their core, believe themselves capable of mastering a demon. The Ordos attempt to properly warn against this, but arrogance is something a prerequisite of climbing the ranks of the Inquisition. The thing they do not realize, however, is that no one, no matter how stubborn or steadfast, is capable of outlasting the cleverness, tenacity, and resilience of a demon forever. A chained demon may be a superweapon in the hands of a clever Inquisitor, but the act of wielding it changes them permanently, and eventually the beast will win out. The man who this creature is bound to had his name lost some centuries ago. Passed on between radical Inquisitors in the Ordo Hereticus, it recently became the possession of Pearl Nothmar, an Orthodox Inquisitor of the Hereticus who confiscated it and other possessions of a radical cell she purged from the organization. She's now left trying to figure out how to end his scourge, searching every record she can for a way to kill the demon host, but the beast has found a weakness in its bindings. The model is a Carrick Acolyte. The head is off the Flagellant kit, and the flames are as well, and the chains are also from the Flagellant kit. The hand, I believe, is from the Miremorn Banshees, and I added a bunch of jewelry chain. Day 11, Autoconfessor. In the deepest depths of the Underhive, it can be years between visits from even the lowest official representatives of the Ecclesiarchy. Many gangs practice their own religious customs, but others receive religious counseling from an autoconfessor, a device that can hear their confessions and mete out punishments. The model is a GW Zone Mortalis column. The ossuary panels I found on Thingiverse and printed. The computer is off the Zone Mortalis sprue, and the bas relief is off the Bastion sprue. Day 12, Duelist Servitor. KG-189 was a servitor commissioned in 988 M41. Originally tasked with holding and serving drinks in the service of noble Lord Tennick of House Grimm, the noble's son, Kittick, would go on to make all manner of upgrades and modifications to create a perfect bodyguard. He brought KG along during his tours with Necromunda's guard regiments, mostly ceremonial work overseeing parades and drills, but better safe than sorry is something of a motto for the risk-averse nobles charged with leading Necromunda's guard. KG's first kill did not come until 999 M41, when the 13th Black Crusade began and the Spiders faced off against traitor guardsmen, while Kiddick barricaded himself in a safe place. KG earned over a dozen kills that day. The body is a marauder with legs 3D printed from Maker's Cult, an arm off a Blood Reaver, an arm off a Sicarian, and a head from the Paturaxi kit. The backpack is made from a bit of Skitarii backpack and a Vansar lasgun. Day 13. Psyk-Vampyr. Vampires are a Xenos species of enormous psychic abilities. They can appear however they wish. Lady Vesper is such a creature, living on Necromunda among the upper echelons of society, in a hive far from the planet's capital. She walks the upper levels of the hive confident in her disguise, always looking for new victims of her hunger. I wanted to show the juxtaposition between the vampire's illusory form and its true form. Originally I was going to do them separately, but when I found the model for the bat, I got the idea to put both halves of the creature on the same base. The model is a 3D print, the giant bat is from TPK Labs, and the noble woman is from Hero Spawn Spot. Her head is an old Reaper Bones head that I had lying around. Day 14. Elec Reverend. Lord Honig Elkaz, one of the leaders of the Guild of Light, the small guild responsible for maintaining Necromunda's existing electrical infrastructure. It's not widely known, but the heat exchangers connected to the geothermal heating systems at the center of each hive are capable of running the hives in a self-sustaining fashion for millions of years with regular maintenance. Unfortunately, conflicts with the Prometheum Guild have left the Electrical Guild with little power and influence, the denizens of Necromunda left to choke down the particulate pollution of burning Prometheum in their absence. The model is a 3D print from Maker's Cult with a head swap from the Flagellant kit, and I added lightning arcing out of the brazier. Day 15. Death World Threat. The ash wastes of Necromunda are full of things that will kill you, but one of the meanest is the Arthermite Dune Scuttler. The bipedal bruiser is slower than the Helamites the nomads ride, but what it lacks in speed it more than makes up for with pure crushing power. The nomads like to keep them around as a deterrent to other predators approaching their camps. The model is an Edge Miniatures Hive Alien. I added some barbed wire and a prosthetic leg. Day 16. Renegade Warlord. It's said that Red Corsairs will recruit from anywhere, and it's true, but one of their preferred destinations for conscription is raids on a prison colony. Kira the Serrated was a gang boss in prison before being picked up by the Chaos Raiders, but quickly rose through the ranks thanks to a cutthroat attitude and vicious power axe. The model is a Redemptionist legs with blooded torso, trophy rack and head, arms off of corpse grinders, a Canonist plasma pistol. Bodyguard is a mix of hive scum body and arms, and head and backpack off of the blooded. Day 17. Lower Deck Officer. It's said that the officer corps of the Imperial Guard are dominated by two types of soldiers, the lucky and the cowardly. Corporal Nussbaum is both. He spends more time in the cantina than at post. He also has a habit of overlooking little things like missing munitions or small arms in the weapons locker he's responsible for. The body is a mix of anvil parts. The stool is from the Trader in a Container STL pack. Day 18. Gland Warrior. Young Igori. My take on the young version of the Glandhound Igori, Fabius Bile's first successful gene seed enhanced human subject, and the leader of the Glandhound packs. Here she is seen young before she acquired her signature shuriken pistol. The model is a Maker's Cult Tempest Legion Recon Squad with the right arm and rebreather taken from the Goliath upgrade kit. Day 19. Wychfinder. Ordo Hereticus Inquisitor Serenity Gracchus, known to have personally called dozens of psychers in her career. The lesser she sedated and readied for the black ships, the greater she puts down with a bolt round to the head. The model is the leader of the Novitiate Squad, with a head off the Hive Scum, power mace off the Heavy Weapon Sister Squad, and a combi needler off the Escher Sprue. Day 20. Mutant Drudge. The lower decks of most large spacefaring vessels in the Imperium have Voidborn mutants of every variety. When these ships fall to chaos, the Voidborn become a quick and easy choice of cannon fodder on the battlefield. The strongest among them may rise high enough to be included in the retinue of a company commander, their strength and resilience making them perfect bodyguards. Harl the Brutal was one such recruit, surviving dozens of boarding actions, eventually acquiring his preferred weapon, a brutal wrench that he uses to bludgeon anyone foolish enough to get within arm's reach. Another of my blooded kill team, he is a Traitor Guard thug. He was made with blooded legs and a gene stealer called Acolyte torso. His left arm is off a Bloodletter, the right is off a Goliath, head is off a Poxwalker, and the backpack is a print from Anvil. Day 21, Corrupt Enforcer. Londis was once a simple security officer. He even made sergeant, but he fell under the influence of a chaos cult and in time would help sabotage his precinct. His cult demagogue compelled him to turn on his colleagues, and as a result, an entire dome fell to their cult. But those things rarely last. When their uprising failed, he fled, going to ground with his armor. He would eventually make it off-world and find his way into the ranks of the Red Corsairs. He will be a trench sweeper for my blooded. His body is a subjugator with blooded trencher, arms, and trophy rack, and a head off the Hive Scum kit. Day 22, Redemption Firebrand. Brother Nodell is one of many itinerant preachers traveling between the hideouts of the many Caudor gangs on Hive Primus. He's a devout follower of the Path of the Doomed, perhaps the most well-known preacher of the value of sacrifice and the redemption. He even goes so far as to style himself as the Prophet of Doom. He'll follow a gang for a time, supplying them with specially rigged munitions for the truly noble of his house to carry into battle. When the time is right, they need only pull the pin and say a prayer, and prepare to meet the Emperor for judgment. The explosive does the rest. Because of this predilection, he has another better-known nickname, the Prophet of Boom. The body is an Empire flagellant with an autogun head and back off the Redemptionists, the flail from the Hive Scum kit, and various explosives and ammo bits. I went ahead and also made him Necromunda rules, which I will include in the show notes. Day 23, Saint Postulate. A statue to an Imperial Saint whose name is long forgotten. The Caudor who recovered it have added a brazier to it to serve as an icon of faith and a reminder of the redeeming power of flame. It's my take on the Caudor burning brazier. I used the statue off the Warhammer Plus Assassin with a 3D printed brazier and candles. Day 24, Xenoscourge. Decided to read this as a Xeno who is a scourge. Eldar Corsairs Colavarius contemplates the fragility of the Monkey form in the middle of a battle. Body is a Desert Elf from Edge Miniatures, arms are off the Kill Team Corsairs, and the heart is from the Witch Elf from Blood Bowl. Day 25, Astropathic Choirist. My take on this bit of art: the head is from the Hive Scum kit, the body is a Sister Novitiate torso, the arms and legs are Redemptionists, not sure where the eagles came from, the eye on the belt is from the Herald of Xenoshan Chariot kit. Day 26, Low-hive Medicae. This one was kind of loosely based on the Rogue Doc from Necromunda Hired Gun. Yvonne the Cutter was once a successful surgeon in Hive City, but a botched surgery on the scion of a noble house put him on the run, and he's been traveling from settlement to settlement ever since. Body and arms are from the Hive Scum kit, Skitarii backpack, robot limbs off the Cataphrons, Delac head and medic case off the scions. Day 27, Whispermaster. This is my take on the Delac Cephalopod Spectre, the House of Shadow's go-to tool for signal intelligence and disruption. Made using the nervous system tissue of the bot's owner, the Spectre responds to their owner's thoughts and feelings, acting as an extension of themselves. A lot of parts off the Skitarii backpacks, a head from the Taraxi, and arms off the Cataphron servitors went into this kit. Day 28, Twistcatcher. Vortis Blissgiver is what passes for a medic among the hordes of human soldiers that make up the vast majority of the Red Corsairs' boarding missions. His exact medical background is a mystery, but he's a skilled brewer of combat drugs that keeps the human dregs fighting longer. In particular, he's tasked with rounding up the mutants that occupy the lower decks of the ship to shove into boarding torpedoes as extra chaff. The model is a body from a Dreamforge Eisenkern, arms and head are from the Blooded Sprue, legs off of a Chaos Cultist, and the net is from an Eldar Witch. Day 29, Cult Torchbearer. There are many reasons the followers of Chaos turn from the Emperor's light, running from their crimes, conscription, anger, or despair at their circumstances. But for a small number of human followers of Chaos, it's a religious calling, a revelation of a core truth of the universe that can neither be denied nor resisted. These zealots are perhaps the most dangerous followers of the Dark Gods, as their faith pushes them further from humanity and closer to their patrons. Deliria is one such true believer, spreading the gospel of Tzeentch to anyone who will listen. She carries a torch to symbolize the enlightenment of her chosen deity, and preaches to any of the Red Corsairs who are willing to listen. The artifact makes her a target in firefights, but she is steadfast in her insistence as she continues to carry it into battle. As she often says, Tzeentch protects. The body is one of the Hive Scum, Lasgun arm is off the Escher sprue, the torch is off the Flagellant sprue, and I 3D printed the backpack. And the head is, I think, one of the bear heads from the Bloody Kit. Day 30, Frontier Explorator. This one is a certain Dome Runner that you may have heard on the radio or maybe on YouTube. That's right, it's me, Crimson Oracle, my most recent 28mm self-portrait. The model is a Hive Scum body head with some added hair and weapons, and an arm off a Necron, a leg off of the Skitarii, a backpack off the Skitarii, and a scroll off the Empire Flagellants. Day 31, Free Space. And here we are, the culmination of this project. I wanted to do something epic for my finale, so I decided to finish something I had started almost a year ago, my Grillet box. But that's actually a topic worthy of a full video unto itself, so I'm just going to give you a little preview. Stay tuned. I'm going to do a whole video about this, and of course the first part of how I set the box up is one of the first videos I recorded and is linked in the show notes. And that about does it. That's all my creations for Inqtober. Hope they convey my love for telling stories with models. Inqtober is to me fundamentally a chance to experiment and try new things. Do you have any Inq 28 conversions that you're proud of? I'd love to see them. You can send them to my email, thedomerunners@gmail.com, and I may even show them in an upcoming episode. With that, I'd like to thank the show's patrons. You guys help me keep this thing on the air and keep going. Of course, you too can become a patron for as little as $2 a month. And of course, if you do that, you get access to early episodes of the podcast, you get access to the show's Discord, and of course, you get to know that you help support the show. And don't forget to check out the Dome Runners podcast, where I talk Necromunda extensively. I put up a Halloween special on Monday that I'm very proud of, so check that out. And of course, everybody stay safe, and don't forget to change your paint water.